Good afternoon, juniors. This is Mrs. Castro in the counseling office, and we are just going to go over some information for you in terms of how to prepare for life after high school and what to expect in the journey ahead. So the first thing we wanted to share with you is understanding that there are multiple different pathways in order to achieve one end goal. So for example, after high school graduation, you have multiple options available to you. Starting off with work experience is what some choose to do, community college and possibly transferring, or even going to community college and getting a certification of some sort. Also, some decide to move on to the military, and then some decide to do trade school or community college as well. And then some will move on to a four-year university right away. So the thing that this graph is going to show you is that even though you may start on multiple different paths, you can still get to that same end goal if you so choose. So if you move on to a community college and transfer and then get your bachelor's or master and then master's and then possibly move on if you wanted to get a doctorate, an MD or something of that nature. So all of these different paths can move to the same direction. Also joining the military, some choose to do that, and then while in the military start their educational career and move on after that when they're done with their time. So just know that you do not have to feel pressure in order to follow the same path that everyone else is doing as well. So just know that you need to choose the path that is right for you. And that's what this post-high school pathways program and the idea behind Rams Advisory this past week is to try and get you to start looking at. So as a reminder, these are the different requirements for graduation. So you have probably seen these multiple different times. So 4 years of English, 2 years of math up through Algebra 1, and then your social sciences, your science, your visual performing art, PE, your health, and 85 elective credits. So that's 8.5 year long. As a reminder, elective credits is going to be anything above and beyond the minimum graduation requirement. So you take an extra year of math, that counts as an elective. So all of this can be found on your transcript in the credit summary box as well. So the UC Cal State College Prep requirements, these are the ones that they outline for you, which are very similar to our graduation requirements, but there's a few differences. In math, you do need to move on, and instead of just completing Algebra 1, you'll have to complete up through Algebra 2 at least, if not more. They do recommend 3 years of science, not just 2, and they recommend 3 years of language other than English. You will notice on the grad requirements, language other than English is not a requirement for graduation, so that would go into electives. And then your college prep, again, a visual performing art, you do have to make sure that the visual performing art that you are going and enrolled in is a college prep requirement and meets that. And that will be noted in the curriculum guide. So, and again, one extra elective in the categories A through F and is what a college prep elective is. So you have to take one extra course, in the categories of A through E. So one of the core classes, not an extra visual performing art, will count for your college preparatory elective. So in terms of SATs and ACTs, that is a big question students ask. Most schools are no longer requiring them. There are some private schools and out-of-state schools that do still ask for that requirement, but UCs and Cal States are test blind. So even if you do take it, they're not going to look at it and they're not going to take it into account for your entrance. But it is important to verify the colleges of interest and whether they are going to require that or not. So that would require you to look on their sites and determine their recommendations. So these requirements are for the UCs and Cal States, but most of the out-of-state schools and private schools also follow a similar pattern. So again, just another reminder, most schools are test blind now, and there are some that will ask for the SAT or ACT. So private university requirements, it's important to check the websites for more details. Most of them will use the same requirements like I mentioned, but some of them will ask for the testing requirements. Some may ask for additional details for you to look into. And some might ask for additional courses that the UCs and Cal States do not ask for. Most of the private universities will ask for you to complete an essay of some sort and also get letters of recommendation. And then also the private schools and universities, most of them are going to use an application called Common App. So we do encourage you to start taking a look at some of those application requirements. So for Cal States and UC requirements, you do need to complete, again, your A through G courses, again, testing blind. And then for UCs, they are going to require a personal insight question. They will ask you to answer 4 out of 8 questions, and you can decide which ones are best suited for yourself. There is no right one to choose. You can choose any of the 8. So you choose 4 of the 8. And you write about those circumstances for yourself in those personal insight questions. The thing to remember is these essays and personal insight questions are similar to having an interview with you so that they get to know you as a person in more detail. So if you're looking at the path for community college, the types of degrees you can earn at a community college, you could get an associate degree, which is a 2-year degree, and you could then move on and transfer if you would like to then move to your bachelor's. Community colleges also offer a variety of certification programs. Each community college has different programs. So you want to look into those if you are interested in that and see which community colleges offer what you would like to have. Transfer opportunities. There are a lot of different transfer opportunities at community colleges. And many times you will have a better chance of getting into some of the institutions that you want to attend after transferring. So a student will transfer after completing general education coursework. For you to transfer to a UC or a Cal State, you need 60 transferable credits in the categories that they ask, very similar to the A through G college entrance requirements. They will ask you to do a certain number of courses in various categories, as well as some preparation work for your major. Private schools, sometimes you don't need the full 60 transferable credits. Sometimes you can transfer after a year. It just depends. But again, that you would have to look into on a case-by-case basis. The other thing that a community college does offer, they have a transfer admission guarantee program. That's a commitment that you make with the university and that you would like to transfer to, and you basically say that you want to transfer to them and that you want to use their tag program. And as long as you meet all of the basic requirements and you meet the GPA threshold and everything that they are asking, then you would be guaranteed a transfer to their university. So most of the UCs, except for a few, do tag agreements with the community colleges as well as Cal States, and then also some private and out-of-state schools are also starting to use tag agreements. So you can find those usually on their websites. If you go to PCC website, you can look at their tag agreements. So it's a great opportunity for students. So the one thing that we want you to start looking at and finalizing before the beginning of next year is creating an application list for yourself. If you are going to apply to multiple universities, the thing we need you to understand is to have a variety of schools that you're going to apply to. So these should be broken down into what are called reach, target, and safety. So the reach schools are going to be colleges that have acceptance factors that are probably above your qualifications, or also they're schools that have very low acceptance rates. So for example, Harvard has about a 4% acceptance rate. That is going to be a reach school for every student no matter if you are the top 1 or 2% of the class. It's still going to be a reach school because they have such a low acceptance rate. When you are looking at their college acceptance rates at each of the schools, if it is a very low percentage that they accept based off of their applications and they have a large pool of applications, then that is going to be a reach school. So that's something to remember. Target schools are going to be, they have pretty much average acceptance rates in the middle, and they're schools that you meet or exceed their requirements. So those would be target schools. So you would apply to about 50% of your schools that you apply to should be target schools. And then 75% of them should be safety. The difficult part is when we are referring to safety schools, it's very hard and it's based off of a year-to-year situation. So you do have to look at the freshman average statistics and see what the trends are that are out there. And those are things that we will definitely help you with in the counseling office. So where would you like to go most? What would you like to get into? Those are the qualifications. So the safety schools are definitely the ones that you go way above what their requirements are, or also your community colleges are going to be on those safety lists. We do encourage every student, if you're applying to a variety of universities, to also put a community college on your list, just in the event that something happens and you need to take advantage of that. So it is recommended to only apply to 10 schools with the variety of safety, target, and reach schools. We don't encourage you to really apply to much more than that. The other thing you need to take into account is understanding the cost of attendance. So costs of attendance are going to be your tuition, your housing, how much meals are, if you have to apply to health insurance, and then the school fees. So this is a breakdown of UC Riverside, and that's the cost that was about a year ago in terms of what they cost. So we encourage you to start looking at all of that for each university. And this tool can be used, and we will start uploading some of these things into Canvas so that, and you can find these numbers on each of the college website. They do have to have a cost of attendance breakdown for students. And it's important to know how much the college costs and also get an understanding of what your family might qualify for in financial aid. So sorry, I'm just going to cut back over here really quick. In order to do that, we encourage you to look into the FAFSA and look into seeing what your families may qualify for financial aid. You can start doing a calculator to see if any of this cost would be covered for you, so that you have an idea of what you can afford to, where you can afford to attend. So some of the things that we are going to help with and support services that we will offer is we do have a family information night in senior year. We also will have senior orientation. And then some things that you want to start looking out for is the Oh My Essay will start being advertised soon. And that's where you can come and get an idea of what you would like, of how to write your essay and how to write your personal insight questions. So it's really important for you to sign up for this. It is a service that Miss Sisson and actually Miss Alvarez are using to help students so that you can get an idea of how to start brainstorming and how to start writing your essay. And then we encourage you to just start attending presentations, looking at the military presentations, talking with them if that's something you want to do, looking at attending college presentations and all of that. And just remember, in the counseling office, we're here to support you individually as much as possible. So please ask us your questions, please utilize us, and we will help support you along the way. Just as a reminder, you will have the California assessment coming up in the spring. So your scores can impact your college placement for English and math. So keep an eye out for updates from administration in the near future. And the state schools use some of that data. Instead of having you take a placement test that they used to do in the past, they will actually use your CAS scores. So we want you, encourage you to take those seriously. So these presentations will be uploaded in Canvas, but these are some of the things and resources and links that you can utilize and start getting an idea of the FAFSA, the DREAM Act, if you qualify for that, and then also looking at the CSS profile if you need to for some private schools. Okay, Rams, that's all we have today. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to come in and talk to us. We're here to help. Whatever we can do to provide you additional support, we will. Have a wonderful day.